Greetings, superior beings, greetings, supreme being. We are all the human race, our common enemy is death. This is the broadcast. Internet hacked, false flag, cyber attack, test for World War III practice. So it appears that I'm live and the green bar is visible, so that's working. So what happened? I made a broadcast basically, and I thought that my channel was hacked, and I did 2 broadcasts about it, and later I checked into this channel. I see that it's still on. Live now, 1863 watching now, according to the YouTube counter. Pat Howley's The Campaign Show, Patriots Soapbox Live, We the People 24/7, Patriots Soapbox Stream. Started streaming 9 hours ago. And basically they covered the event. Don't know if it was a cyber attack. I googled cyber attack, the Baltimore. This was 3 days ago, so there was I couldn't find any recent report about this cyber attack on YouTube. I've removed my latest broadcast. I don't know if it could have anything to do with it, but I can tell you what it was about basically, and the first part of the broadcast was missing. So I'm Ulrich Hoffman. I said my name in that, but I also did that in other broadcasts, so I think that can't be it. And of course it's a psycho idea. You could argue that they took down internet because of my video or whatever. Perhaps the neural network detected something, or I don't know. Act before a cyber attack happens to you. Accounting today, 5 days ago, opinion. But I discovered a new website that's downdetector.com. Well, if it's really down, you'll notice that soon enough, of course, if you're live streaming and then your stream disappears. Or would that not be detected? Now we see here that green light is on with Open Broadcaster software. But if the server would go down, well, then you'd get dropped frames probably. I don't know if it's using some way to check. Not cyclic redundancy check code, I think. But it detects when frames are dropped. So it must be using some method for that, I guess. So downdetector.com shows us the amount of reports, 28,397 people reported YouTube problems in the last 24 hours. We see that it happened at around 2015. It would be nice to know the exact time also. And I'm wondering, is this some kind of DDoS attack? What's going on? You can all write stuff in the chat. So I can turn on the chat. It is on. So if you write something in the chat, if your first message is blocked, try again. The service might not be totally 100% yet. And it seems to be something orchestrated, and possibly it has to do with preparations for World War III, testing the kill switch, also perhaps selectively blocking people. So this broadcast just continued, but they started broadcasting before this event occurred, if they've been broadcasting 9 hours. Other things that happened, well, I got following messages basically. Let's see. Sorry you could not log you in at this time. Please try again, with the monkey appearing on the screen when trying to log into the live stream thing. So I think many people were scared that their YouTube channel was removed or whatever. This page isn't working. YouTube.com is currently unable to handle this request, HTTP error 503. and your changes were not saved. An error has occurred while saving your changes. Please try again later. These types of messages, when trying to visit YouTube, the YouTube standing screen was still visible. 0 strikes, and my ability to live broadcast was not affected, yet I was unable to live broadcast. And I've now made that video private. I've also downloaded it, but that's not registered from when I started broadcasting, so the beginning of the video is missing. And I recorded that at between 1 and 2 o'clock, I think. I can check that on my channel if that's available at the moment. So on Down Detector you can also check your Gmail, Snapchat, Nest, don't even know what it is, Vimeo, Google Drive, Spectrum, Crunchyroll, Verizon, Shopify, Discord, Google Cloud, AT&T, Pokemon, YouTube TV, Comcast, Instagram, Steam, Level 3, Google Play, etc. So we can check, for example, if well, on this channel they reported that Google commercials, Google advertisements were not blocked. Video output low on this, so I go to Video Manager immediately, because it cannot handle the several things that I have on at the moment. So let's try, I don't even have my cam on, CPU is 100% now, 100% used, and now it's back at 84, going back to 100. I don't have Virtual DJ on, so this is weird. It should be somewhere like 50% or something. So this was the broadcast, basically. 24 views. Don't know if that's still going up even after I made it private. That might be possible. They might be able to watch it themselves. Public. I made this private, I think. Oh, but perhaps it was during the period that it was hacked. Anyway, let's see if it's now totally from the beginning, or if it's still 138.16. So that means that it's not complete, that the beginning is still missing. There's the broadcast, and then. So it begins with and then, and that's not the beginning of my stream. And here somewhere we see, when I check OBS, that that there are 0 dropped frames. Oh yeah, right. So that means that it was broadcast properly. Also, the beginning is cut off, otherwise you would see me switching to that live stream and then that green bar appeared. And anyway, I might put this stream online again. I've downloaded all my videos, including this one, the one that's not completely uploaded. And well, perhaps you can take a listen to it. Is there anything in this broadcast that they'd want to hide? With Russian President Putin before taking any action. So yeah, there was a global internet thing, and I didn't even read about it on Google. Let's search cyber attack again. So this, if I search on Powerball, $344.6 million Powerball jackpot has a winner in North Carolina. Could that have something to do with it, perhaps? I'm just gonna search cyber attack on Google. It should correct my typo.
Cyber attack.
Perhaps we'll read about it tomorrow in the news, but perhaps they're waiting a while so we think, oh, then it's real if they don't start reporting before it happens, etc. Combating cyber attacks requires mindset change, CSA Chief. 1st of June 2019. Perhaps because Google was affected by it and YouTube as well, perhaps the One News page can give us some more insight. Trump's UK visit, pomp and protests waiting for US President. Regulators debating level of training for pilots of Boeing 737 MAX. Animal lover spends more than £4,000 rescuing three-legged dog from Egypt. 737 crash could have been prevented if Boeing took pilots' concerns seriously. Bernie Sanders' California base split with new progressive candidates. Protester jumps on stage and interrupts Kamala Harris. And then we're back at the first thumbnail. Well, that's not about the cyber attacks either. So back to Google News. What else is happening in the world at the moment? And perhaps most people didn't even notice it. No, I meant normal Google News. Is there anything that they'd want to hide? This is still live as well?
The spirit cooking.
Followers run a little bit before us. All of this was considered totally insane. Not even that long ago.
Perhaps the whole spirit cooking thing is fake to cover up satanic sacrifice and satanic calendar and it's just a controlled opposition story to cover up for the real pedophiles. Idea that the biggest enemy might hide in the last place you ever look or whatever.
It was in the spirit cooking emails, and that's why they freaked out so much about Julian Assange and Roger Stone and the emails, because it revealed all of this spirit cooking stuff. Well, now they're going to try to normalize that. Now they have to figure out, like, okay, the cat's out of the bag. All right. So how do we, like, keep our power while also making people feel okay about these things that are going on? And I think one of the things they're doing is normalizing pedophilia. The college
So what
my report
WikiLeaks is funded by Mossad
sexuality
and
course at the
CIA.
University of North Texas, places. Okay, conservative stronghold, University of North Texas. College text reports. A college textbook that explores
Is there a way to verify if Assange is really in jail,
sexual
etc.?
pleasure and response in infants.
Oh my god, I read that.
At the University of North Texas, sexual pleasure and response in infants, and lesson materials about what they call parent-child play. Okay, which is I don't even want to get into what that is. Yep. So the college text follows up on this, and they actually found something that I didn't find in the original report, which is incredible.
I can also write in the chat, so it's still going on. And earlier they reported about this cyber attack also.
The collaboration and the back and forth, did you hear it?
What was on to the Pakistani intelligence? Yes.
First presidential daily brief.
1,710 people have briefed. That is our has been involved. I'm Michael.
And so I would stop and Roxy would chime in and she would pronounce the Italian member of the European Parliament.
Harping on Bill Clinton and what's her name? Hillary. Their connection to Epstein, and not Trump's connection to Epstein. In my broadcast there was also something about Epstein building a new island or something, or about his new island, I don't know. And I said something like, it's probably not a Lolita island or something.
If you
Just posted it.
I want
Here's what's happening right now. Yeah, Ireland, the UK, London, Paris, Barcelona.
the one from Zero Edge or
Yeah, it's
So this was earlier tonight. This
let's see.
is minus 2 hours, and now it's 1:07. Discord live text.
Definitely noteworthy. Oops,
Did the government just test the internet kills?
Finally, live chat's working for me now. Looks like everything.
Can you reset down the reader mode? It's a lot easier to read. Yeah, hang on for a sec.
What URL is this?
There you go. And make it bigger. I was gonna say, is it big enough?
What URL are they watching? It's kind of hard to read. I can make it higher resolution. 1080p. 60 seems to work as well, but with interruptions. And now I'm live streaming, so then it's better to put it 720p. There. This is the address at zerohedge.com, I think. Okay. So then I can go back to 480p.
Read it, or you want me to do it? No, sorry, you're the one. You got it, man. You got the comms. Okay.
So yeah, the question is also, is this a selective kill switch? They kept on broadcasting for 9 hours, so it didn't affect them somehow. But my broadcast was affected, basically.
I felt a great disturbance in the farce. Cried out in terror and were absolutely suddenly silenced.
Well, at least they have 1,500 viewers. I have 0.
It appears that Google Cloud affecting Gmail, YouTube, Snapchat, Instagram, and Facebook, among others, mysteriously and almost unprecedentedly went offline. Here's a couple of
3 p.m. ET there.
tweets. BA replying at BA 1221 says Portugal to sell debt on China market in Eurozone first. Then it says
Oh,
may have
it's
occurred.
muting off right now.
You think? And then there's a picture of Facebook, Gmail, Google, and Instagram with the red lines. BA replying at BA 1220. There you go.
Things good old doesn't it, Patriotsky? Your eyes fail you.
they felt a great disturbance in the force there, right? That's how Star Wars use the force, Nuke, or whatever. Use the force, Luke, I think. Yeah, I think it's Luke. So then I can pick another pipe, at least I'm live, and so they reported about it, and probably we'll read about it in the news tomorrow. Perhaps I'm one of the first to report about this.
You want to read it or you want
So
me
perhaps
to
I'll get some views.
You're the one. You got it, man. You got the comms.
Okay, so this is an article.
So everybody can write in the chat and check this broadcast for themselves on the channel I've already mentioned. Hashtag We the People 24/7 Patriots Soapbox Stream. Multi-streaming also. And I can do another search. Let's see. Cyber. But it looks to me like it was a DDoS attack, and then a lot of people are needed to do such a DDoS attack. And it's also weird that the thumbnail for my broadcast is now missing on this. Though it was uploaded correctly and it was showing correctly. Reload site. Just reload it. Another thing was that I made it private broadcast. So let's make it private again first. Reload. Here I can. Oh, now it's on private, and the thumbnail is back. Okay. Well, perhaps I'm just gonna review this broadcast to see if I think there's anything in violation of YouTube policy in there. Because this thing kind of scared me, basically. And I want to have my channel the ability to live broadcast when I'm attacked with directed energy weapons. My life might depend on it. So I can upload the other broadcast to some other channel. NASA hires 3 companies for moon science deliveries. So then we can check what other major events happened today that might be in relation to this hack attack or whatever it was. Virginia Beach gunman gave resignation before shooting was in quote good standing unquote, authorities say, Fox News yesterday. That's all yesterday. That's old news. How can this be, this is all yesterday. Though I just opened news.google. This is all labeled yesterday. And this one 2 days ago. So there is nothing reported today, is that the idea? Highly peculiar. And then this is the real news, or is this the fake news according to Trump? Let's search on today. USA Today yesterday. So, okay. Well, I guess it's not funny. US, I can click on US if they reported anything today. That's all yesterday as well. So perhaps we should check YouTube if we want more recent news and real news. So you can check that YouTube live page, but that basically doesn't show you all the pages. The interesting ones are left out usually. So this page cannot really be used. And a half hour ago there were also whole topics missing. Webcam live streams was missing. Mobile live streams was missing completely. So perhaps there was somebody live streaming that they had to switch off somehow. So that might be the thing that was happening. So I wonder who that was then, if anybody knows. Skype ProLogic999 or let us know in the comments. Weekend Hangout number 9. Mars anomalies. Recent mobile live streams, well I bet there's nothing in there either. And that they may have removed the person's channel or whatever. Perhaps some superstar that wanted to come out the closet about Freemasons or something like that. Prince was also writing memoirs or some book. And there was this song that was quite revealing recently that I had never heard before. I read about it somewhere and then I searched on the title and I found it, but I already forgot what it was. Already forgot. Trucker Brown is the best trucker. I cannot believe this. 721 views. This and that. With the nice dog. Stefan Klingscales. That might be the bodybuilder that sold his Tesla or whatever. He thought it was a bit too expensive. Weekend Hangout. Well, then I think I'm gonna watch this. And this was also to test the ability to live stream again, if that's working again. I might also upload the videos, other videos that I made, but I'm gonna use much stricter screening my YouTube policy. So if I'm not certain about something, then I'm gonna remove the broadcast, stop the broadcast, or not broadcast it basically. If I have any doubt about anything, then I can always Google it and verify it online, what is allowed and what is not allowed. There's a video somewhere of 227 YouTube words that are not allowed, so people can check that as well. I can send it to you if you can't download it anymore. It's with the background music, and then he goes through all the 227 words that are forbidden on YouTube. Perhaps now there are more. It's a rather old video. I can check the title. It has 227 in it, that's for sure. See if that's still in the search database somehow. Well, okay. Slow computer. It's 227 words you can't say on YouTube. Too critical for you uploaded that. 5 minutes 50 seconds. 91.2 beats per minute. That's almost Euphoria frequency. It's 120 in Netherlands. As you can see, left top corner, 120. So that's it for now for Try Something Vegetarian. Perhaps some people totally freaked out. They went berserk. Some people may have killed themselves even over this cyber attack or whatever it was. And I noticed it, so if you noticed it, let us know in the comments what happened and what we can do to prevent further attacks such as these that may cripple the internet and that may be very dangerous. Well, I'm wondering about it, how could this be dangerous then? Even if Google and YouTube would disappear instantly now, could that be a danger to any of us? If the whole internet would disappear, if they have a kill switch, and click. Perhaps it's more fun if I just keep on talking while I'm gonna pack another pipe anyway. Picture show on. Let's see. Could it be a CIA attack, anonymous hack, DDoS thing that they've done with a lot of people, and they all stick to that plan, whatever it is. Even if it's annihilating 7 billion people in the Third World War, they're gonna stick to that plan. Well, are you asking me? Wow. What was the question again? If it's well, I'm gonna get some tobacco first. Okay. Anonymous. I could use the anonymous voice. Well, I always explain. There are people that claim it's CIA, but even if so, there are many real anonymouses out there that might have never hacked somebody and that have good ideas for our future. So I want to say that first, basically. I'm not totally trashing Anonymous. I even have worn Anonymous masks myself, as you all may know. And I could do a broadcast right now with the anonymous David voice, David Capstraw or something. But it's an anonymous voice, so I guess they cannot identify it yet. But maybe one day they can, you know, so watch out. Yeah, satires, everything on YouTube is better than the mainstream media, I would argue, for that reasoning. And I've now emptied this, so you can hear it also. And I'm now going to put some more tobacco in the universal peace pipe. For real. Remember the 5th of November. Well, perhaps it's best if we all don't, because that's my birthday. Not 322 or 32-2. No. 5-11 or 11-5, depending on where you live. So then I could be the real Anonymous, and it's so secret that not even I know about this. They haven't informed me. They've just erased it from my memory, from our collective memory, and they've even erased the Mandela effect. Is that the case? Then let us know in the comments. So how real is time travel? Interesting concept. Time is a myth backwards. And you could argue we're all traveling through time, whether we want to or not. The clock doesn't stop unless we make it stop. Central Intelligence Agency's Department of Justice is... What if Mossad and CIA funded WikiLeaks, counterintelligence, misinformation, disinformation, question every source of information? I got it. Yeah, picking my pipe. Or are we not allowed to question every source of information? There are certain things that we are not allowed to doubt, perhaps, huh? If the mainstream media with the crisis actor says something, then we'd better assume that it's the truth, or otherwise we're terrorists, aren't we? And the people spreading the depleted uranium are not terrorists, only the people that resist that are, of course, according to Trump and others. Or is that wrong of me to think that? So if they'd invade the US and start spreading depleted uranium, then they'd understand they'd be terrorists if they'd resist these Russians or whatever. It's so simple. And let's put some cooperate in there, but it's Jesuits and Masons, so the Russians are great people, as long as we're not talking about Putin, Trump, and Rouhani. We could be talking about the Jesuits and Masons, so then we'd better watch out. And I'm not picking my pipe, or not then, for those of you that disbelieve everything I say. Great, it's the first step towards healing, or not. Test everything you learn. If you don't come to democracy, then the people are still coming anyway. Even if you decide not to come right now. Even Anonymous might climax at a certain point, you know. It's all Freud, it's all real. So let's light this then. And on Amos or whatever. Y mouse. And on Y mouse. So in reality there is no privacy, synthetic telepathy, reality. 129. Soon 130. To be 130, I could say. So this broadcast seems to lead nowhere, not Shangri-La, nowhere. And We Are Legion, I doubt that as well, basically. We Are Legionella, perhaps, but We Are Legion. We Are Legion. That probably it was We Are Legion, and they turned it into We Are Legion. Am I right? Yes. Anonymous said yes. But he didn't speak, he was just nodding his head. Lies of the CIA going out via me, perhaps the army. Okay, let's see what else is happening in the world then. I have to think about this further. Weekend hangout, what's he talking about? Live at 1:31 in the Netherlands. Is this US? 6 hours earlier over there. It looks like a German guy, but...
Trying to take educated guess. Again though, if you get something hurling through space over like thousands of years, this thing's just going through space, and it's not like they're filling a tank with water in that thing. I mean, how is it getting the water itself though? And how much can it outgas before it runs out of it? Does it make much sense?
Manned space travel is impossible.
I would say that all day for a week, and it's, truth is truth, man, get it out.
They have time travel.
Darla, good to see you in there. You didn't miss a whole lot. We were just talking about 67p and, what did I think about that? And the real Jimmy Robbins had just done a video on that. And he's found some structures on it, and I've been telling these guys that basically, that I believe it's a construct. I don't think it's...
But then the question would be, if they have time travel capability, is there still a way for us to win, or is there no fight? Is it just benefiting a few people, basically, that are shown precognitive visions to suit a particular agenda? Or is it to help them if they're good slaves? Or who has that time travel capability? They have time travel. Who is they? D-Day thing also going on.
No game. And you're absolutely right, man. I agree with you, because it makes no sense, man. It's just like, just come out with the truth. I think it's the only way to go.
How do you know it's not your own capability?
William, I believe you're right, man.
If you've had precognitive visions,
disclosure would disrupt some people's comfort zone.
Well,
yeah,
even if through a camera,
like I said,
out-of-body experiences, etc. If we have a scale interferometer between our ears and some beardness, right?
At the end of the day, you come out. Most people come home and sit down and watch their sitcoms. I don't do that. Now, I'm not saying they're wrong for doing that. I'm just saying my nose is in the computers here, and I'm sitting there watching, I'm looking at photos, up-to-date space news, so on and so forth. I want to think outside the box. I want to know what's going on around us, literally, outside our planet, and inside, of course, because there's a lot of great space
maybe good to be with
nose. Inventing, things we're making much better, improving.
Some people were killed for questioning authority, so remember to distrust
Mrs.
authority.
Sparkle baked. Look up at any clear nights. UFOs are everywhere. I was always told that they were satellites. They're not satellites. They are in our atmosphere, in our sky. Take a photo and zoom in. And you're right. Absolutely. I mean, I've done that where you go and just lay in the grass, man. And if you don't have any kind of light pollution, meaning street lights, things of that sort, just look up. You see these things just traversing in different directions. So it's not just satellites. There's all kinds of things. Of course, you got planes and stuff like that. Of course, you see their strobes on their wings and stuff like that. So you know they're planes, right? But you can see things way up there in the clay night just move in different directions.
Well, I've covered these orbs, scalar orbs. You can also see on universalpeace.jimdo.com at the bottom of the page. Scalar orbs flying next to the Concorde, scalar orbs making legal crop circles, and a pyramid-shaped UFO charging itself with lightning. And these were the most interesting videos I found in my years of internet browsing and stuff, so that's why I put them on that page. And the original crop circle, they call it UFO making crop circle orbs, but in reality they're scalar orbs, they're man-made. Nikola Tesla's the vegetarian Nikola Tesla's invention to end all wars, the wireless energy technology, also known as scalar technology, which is what they use for brainwave modification. See, he's nodding his head in agreement.
Guys, it's literally flipping over end to end and side to side and everything else, and yet these rocks, how good is the gravity on this little, you know...
So if the brain controlled by a neural network, then they also may respond to their own ideas and stuff. So I wonder if sometimes when people are talking, they say yes with their mouth, but they're nodding their head, no, no, no.
All to it, then these things you shouldn't see any loose rocks on the outside of that, right? Am I right or am I wrong?
Well, if space travel and space debris, so that's why I think manned space travel may still be impossible without saucers, and but I think he disagrees.
Rebel, what's going on, man? Good to see you in there.
I'm going to ask him the question: do you think manned space travel is impossible?
HEALTHIEST, thank God. Thank God you are on. Didn't get a notification that you died or forgot about us. Well, here's the crazy thing. I don't know if you guys had the same problem, but YouTube was not working from like 2:45 almost to like 4 o'clock here. And here's what's really bizarre. We had some serious storms come through earlier too, right around 2:30ish. And had some storms come by, thunder, lightning. Wasn't quite bad here, but just north of us. And I can look out and see some.
Do you think manned space travel is possible? Please law, abnormal anomalies and beyond.
Just stayed on, steady tone. Everything shut down on me. I was like, oh man, you're kidding me right now, right? So I turned everything back on. Everything was fine.
So I bet he's just
couldn't get on to save my life.
collecting money for the NASA Masons.
Including Joe from our Alien TV. So, down. It's down over here. And yeah, I could talk to, I don't know if you guys are familiar with, but Taff Baker. He also lives in the UK. He said, I'm working
I
fine
wonder
here.
if he could beat me.
He's kind of slow, but I'm getting on. Some reason I couldn't get on this thing to save my life, and if it did, it would like half load and all this other crazy crap. Weird.
Don't we all hate just
what was going on? I didn't even think to be truthful, you guys. I said, man, I hope this thing straightens out before tonight, before this live hangout, right? Yeah, I mean, you just gotta check, man. 7 o'clock every night. I'll be on. Just refresh your page, and you see it. Because even I do it on my other computer. I've got it right now. I can see everything that's going on, making sure that it's we're still broadcasting live.
Just admit that one
What I'm showing you guys
square.
right now, I'm seeing it the same way you guys are seeing here on my other computer. Again, I've got 2 setups here, so I'm watching that and making sure everything's working well.
Put it out if he's going to answer my question.
So I know what's going on. Let's see.
But I'm
So it's a
sort
little
of
delayed. It's about 2-3 seconds delayed for the internet, of course. So yeah. But I almost didn't get on there. All thanks to YouTube, right? And of course, nasty weather. Pyro Boys, you put on there, what about the spaceships they see in orbit by telescope? You can see them on YouTube. Are they real or fake? Unfortunately, we got a lot of jokesters and fakesters out there, I call them. Some of them are just BS, and now some of them catch the real deal. And that's the problem. You gotta say, well, what's the real one here? What's the fake one?
in the chat.
You can usually tell when some of them are real because you don't see, you know what I mean? You don't see like
spelled differently.
the background's completely grainy, but yet you see this perfectly smooth and looks so much better than the actual background, right? It looks like it's pristine and not grainy. You go, oh, come on. You know, this guy's just so full of it. And that's what you gotta be careful with people that are playing jokes on people. You just gotta, they make this stuff up, and it's all about the views. And to me, it's just like, listen, if I can't show it real, I don't want to even be on this. That's all there is to it, you know. And
They may be real, but
make a living on the internet, I can't do it.
there may not be people on board.
I believe a lot of that stuff, Pyro Boys. I believe they are.
Just because of the fact
Again, if you're just
3 other
relaxing,
reasons.
just chilling on maybe the hood
Make
of your car or on the grass,
and
just looking up,
space
man, just looking
travel
crazy. You
impossible.
don't even need a telescope to see these things flying by on a clear night. You can just see them things whipping by, just maybe space rocks.
So there's definitely an ISS and the Earth is definitely spherical,
Plus, it'd be quite
and
hard
the
if you could
Apollo
see
moon
them.
landings are
But the point
definitely
is,
fake.
like, there's all kinds of things
The NASA
flying
Masons
around
are
on
real.
Earth. And maybe that's why we don't see a lot of photos from Earth, like from satellites to Earth. Yeah, maybe
So
that's
I'm
why
not
you don't see
kidding,
that.
it's what I claim basically, and nobody can disprove it, can you? Then let us know in the comments.
What's going on? Good to see you in there, man.
If we dance, you have
Things are going great here. Dances agree on Space Force and non-terrestrial officers.
Agree even Sky Project 999, or write something in the chat, then it will appear on the screen. I've tested it already. Blackout.
Yeah, well, you said maybe what Gary McKinnon found in U.S. was trying to bring him.
Oh, is it possible the URL changed on the chat?
Yeah, I mean,
I will check.
I wish you know. I've talked to him before. I've talked to Gary. In fact, we had a group hangout with UFA, Federation of Anomaly Hunters.
So perhaps he will answer my question, but it will take some time.
Basically, what it is, and. It was funny because he was on there one night, and yeah, he's a down-to-earth guy, man. It's just, it's just like anybody else, just chilling and just talking about, what he's seen, and I guess he's still kind of, like, in other words, he really can't get into it a lot, so he just doesn't get really deep into it.
So,
I believe what he saw. I believe what he saw was true, and he does talk about, how there was.
I'm going to write something in my own chat.
Crazy stuff like that. So yeah, there's like a list of them that said off-Earth officers and stuff like that.
Let's see if it can handle this. The other one is 480p, so that's not causing. Oh, I've had few.
See. Natural watching now, happening as we speak with those things that has come out. No doubt, maybe. Not like what we want, but it's happening. Yeah, I think it is. I think it's like a slow kind of drip thing going on here. I think it's coming out. It's just slowly. It's almost like you're working up to something, right? Now a lot of people say, well, it's going to be some kind of.
I have stream on, so that's why video output is low, but.
How do you fake that invasion? It's one thing to see these UFOs, but most people be like, oh, I see a worm in the sky. They would again, they'd be so sensitized because so many people have seen them. Now, to the people who've never seen a UFO,
drop frames to 0.
Freaked out, but. To me, it's just like,
because I put this
oh my God, check that out,
black
that's cool.
screen.
You know what I mean? I don't
With
know.
the black screen,
but when you say invasion, they'd have to really do this thing up. In other words,
using much less CPU.
The Pentagon and all kinds of other places,
12.5%
killing people. I mean, that to me would be like a full invasion, right? And I don't believe that's going to happen.
On the screen here now, CPU 13%. When I show the desktop,
Satsuki Buns,
and when I go to my main webcam,
about the V-shaped structures,
the CPU goes
videos,
to.
There are V and U-shaped structures everywhere. Did you see them? What do you think?
I did see them,
because I went and checked after that. But yeah, as far as for somebody that can't get a hold of, man, I've got Skype on. That's the best way. We actually hooked up through there.
It might be
I messaged him. He did finally get it. He messaged back, but then
USB.
I heard a thing. I would have liked to have him on today, and I don't know. He's either real busy or whatever. But I haven't been able to connect with him. But I got my Skype on all the time, this way in case he pops up, it'll just boom, it'll tell me he's there, and especially if you write some kind of comment or note to me or whatever. And I'll get it. And,
I think I'll just make it full screen, and I'll just have to use.
Because I like the idea of being knowledgeable about what he's seeing on the moon, and and I like collaborating with him. So I mean, it'd be good to have him back in there.
Well, the beginning is missing. Perhaps I will redo.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you for the support, man. Appreciate that.
So save changes.
Rapture ready. My comments have been disappearing for a week now. Others have noticed this too. Wonder why that is. And guys, we have like a, what do they call it? Like a spam folder too. It'll say these are ready for for your viewing. It'll tell anybody who's an uploader.
And do you think manned space travel is impossible? Peace, Bra, at Mars Anomalies and beyond.
And it will show up. So if you don't see yours right away, just go back and have a look, because sometimes it'll put it into, and I don't know why, but it'll put it into spam. I do know why. Sometimes what it'll do is it'll do a if you put in like a some kind of URL or something like that, it automatically puts you as a spam. So if you break it up, you know what I mean, break up any address and what page address, whatever it may be, just break it up, put a little space between them. Sometimes it won't do that, and it'll show on there. But I don't know why. Sometimes it just does that, and I have to go in there and check these things to make sure you guys are not being screened out.
Took pretty long to make this one.
Try something vegan or vegetarian. Take sufficient amounts of vitamin B superscript 1 squared and it's healthiest to be vegan.
Any ideas about the theory of the moon not a natural object? Yeah, I mean, many have said that it's hollow, and I don't know about being hollow. I mean, I think meaning the whole thing, but they have between them literally taking the third stage part of the rocket and this like deliberately slamming into the lunar surface, and the thing will literally ring for like hours on end, that tells me that why would it do that? In other words, it would just slam into it, just either break to pieces or explode, and that'd be the end of it. But no, that's why they brought. This is the reason why I think they brought up the seismometers and stuff like that purposely, just so they can do that and just get just say, let's just have a listen and see what happens, because we're really curious about the way this thing sounds. And you can only dig down so far. I don't know if you guys knew that, but it's like you would think it'd be super deep as far as moon dust, and they say sometimes it's not even that deep. And they found metals on there, and really, really hard steel. So.
This is what a NASA Mason always looks like because they are addicted to ... cocaine.
I'm sorry, these, I'm thinking comments because I'm just looking at this other comment up here. But there's a comment, comments. But anyway, when you see them come out of the craters, you literally see these things come out. Now, is it possible it's all lava tubes and that these things made like a base inside there? Is it possible that there's caverns, just like we have here on Earth, right? That's why they think a lot of aliens may be inside Earth, and we just don't know about it. Why? Because we haven't traveled into these giant caverns. Only so far in, that was it. Some of them are underwater. You got to go really deep underwater and they come back up into these caverns. And there's, of course, there's air pockets, and you can live in there. So God knows what the hell's even there. But I don't know. I think it's natural, but it's being used as as home to other beings. Let's just put it that way. It's hard to tell, though. I'm not going to say no to any of it because I don't know. Bernie von Oosterhout. Okay, you put on there Dr. Grizz. Dr. Grizz says that there is no dangerous alien.
Is ISS real?
We have 2025 bases. 2025, I think you're putting on there, bases on the moon, and that we are on Mars around. Oh, okay. You're saying that we're going to be in 2025. Okay, and then be on Mars in 2027. We were already.
So some people think that ISS is a hologram, and others think that it's a real spaceship, but there are no astronauts on it. And then there are others that think, yeah, sure, ISS is real, and there are astronauts.
Back in the late 50s, even early
space
60s, we were already
travelers
sending probes everywhere. So
in our universe as we speak.
They send an unmanned spacecraft, right? Okay, it didn't blow the pieces all the way to Mars. Okay, so we get that part down. So in other words, we get the material to build these things. It didn't break apart going to Mars.
Or any of that sort. Okay, we got that down. So we can build a spacecraft, the right combination of steel, whatever it may be, we can get there. Okay, so what would we do for any kind of radiation? Well, we can line it with like a lead or whatever. So once it gets out into space, it's not going to weigh anything, right? It's no weight. So just
Of course, I don't buy that they can get there if they can't even get to the moon. That's obvious.
Google has.
So as like I said, he's just promoting for the NASA Masons. He might be amazing.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have a lot of that. You're going to have a lot of AI coming in. I mean, there's like all these companies are building this, these AI, those artificial intelligent things, and man, it's just, it can be crazy creepy at the same time, as well as wow, it's cool, and I love the advancements. So, I don't know.
A
lot of people kind of like, what was it?
And we don't have to decide anymore whether we want to go left or right. It's just done for us.
So whether that's gonna, I don't think it's going to be like like super horrible, like these machines going to take over the Earth, right?
They also did it to the hybrid insect microelectric mechanical systems.
If they're all going to get smarter than us, going to take over. I don't think that's going to be the case.
It's already
we're
done.
going to use them. We're going to actually use them. So if you send them, you can actually send them to Mars.
The idea that he's having
not have to worry about anybody dying.
it's a neural networks
for
idea.
like years. Kind of like a rovers, only they literally walk. And you can have them just like walk over to certain objects, pick them up, or whatever. I don't see what
and the idea I'm having as well, of course, synthetic telepathy is real since
I think the next time you say, man, it'll be a lot more
So what
do I want to use? It's gonna be like just old hats, man. It's gonna be like,
So these stories are
man.
just to pretend
You know, because they've already done it.
synthetic telepathy doesn't exist.
You know, so I don't think it's gonna be that much of a problem with new technology. Different spacesuits. I don't know if you guys seen that, but the spacesuits are like so much thinner. It's almost like a jogging uniform. So much more easy to work in, move around. So yeah. I'm just kind of curious too. I don't think the moon's, you know, I think it's got an atmosphere as well, and I've been saying that too. I think it's got a little bit of an atmosphere where you can almost, in other words, you can use a breathing apparatus.
All intelligent agencies are monitored and controlled by the judges with patent authorized to online and enter brains.
It looks like in the Goldilocks zone for X amount of time and then get out of there, aren't you? Either you're basically a rock, frozen rock, or you're burnt to a crisp.
The thematic patent, I've done some broadcasts about scalar technology. CIA has declassified some stuff recently.
That's weird, man. You guys are like, boom, all over this.
Can anybody disprove it to me?
What's going on here, Bruce? What's happening? Dude, I've been waiting for you to hit me up on Skype. I got it on. You haven't hit me up. Hit me up. I'd like to have you on tonight. Or you can have, if you can talk about you even hosting me on your channel. That'd be fine too. I'm all for that. What do you guys think?
So he's not answering my questions, I think. Can he even read my messages?
Let's see, I guess. InfoWars, I guess haters gonna hate. Yeah, you gotta have that no matter what, right, guys? Like I said, you could be the best person on the planet and still haters gonna hate.
Can anybody read my messages?
There's no, shortage of those. Kenneth says, Bruce, keep up the good work, pal. Absolutely, keep up the good work.
No cyber attack going on, question mark.
No cyber attack going on?
Who can't see the video? Bruce, you said either Joe Blow cannot see
Kill
the
switch
video.
test for World War III.
I know mine's definitely working.
Was this thing only affecting me? The map they showed in that video that I showed.
Gossamer. Been following Tyler for years. I have my own opinion, but
they were showing that it was affecting Europe and US large areas.
Listen, I have nothing to say about him.
But this guy doesn't talk about it.
Doing what he wants to do, and he's passionate about it. Now I know a lot of times a lot of people told call him out on fake crap back in the day, but I don't think that's the case now. That's what's awesome.
Okay. What and why are these objects on Venus? Well, yeah, satellites are real, of course. They can place those with robots. And space travel may be impossible. Manned space travel may be impossible for 4 reasons. And one of them is space debris. If they fly at tremendously high speed, if they're going to Mars or to the moon, that's pretty far away. They have to go pretty fast before they run out of air. Because that's another problem, they have the vacuum. So if they fly with their spaceship at such a high speed through a little rock flying in space, or basically a little rock through their spaceship, then their blood would start to boil. And the vacuum would basically kill them all if they're not wearing their spacesuit. So that's one reason manned space travel is impossible without proper cloaking teleportation technology, which is created with coils. And they've had that for a while as well, of course, time travel capability, etc. And there are people misinforming you all because they want to keep the advantage. They don't want you all to have a little coil that can do all that in a neural network. That's the other thing they need, and that's, well, you need some money for that at least. But without a Tesla plasma shield, no one can defend themselves against this death ray technology of Nikola Tesla, the vegetarian genius. So, if there would be a world war, then it's possible everybody without a Tesla plasma shield would die. I've shown a picture in my broadcasts also. And these broadcasts that we see here are all wiped out by the EMP. And about 20% of these nukes would get through, according to defensemagazine.com or some website like that. Is that true? Or would the percentage of nukes that get through be a lot higher or lower? Let me know in the comments, and also what your source is basically, or how you get that number. But yeah, so space debris is one reason manned space travel may be impossible. The other reasons are the extreme temperatures in space, -200 to +200. It's enough to get uncomfortable and even to die basically from the temperature effects. People would get undercooled or burn, literally. And then the other reason is the vacuum, of course. They cannot even simulate that vacuum in space on Earth. And a lot of the NASA videos, according to the people that think that it's a scam, they think we see bubbles. Michael Jackson's monkey was also called Bubbles, and Michael Jackson may still be alive. There's a video of Michael Jackson appearing as Dave. He faked his own death, according to sources online, conspiracy theorists, and I'm a conspiracy factist, so I make clear that I'm not the one claiming these things. But he appeared as Dave on the Larry King show on CNN, so you can watch that broadcast on YouTube, and his eyes and voice give away that it's Michael Jackson with one of these Mission Impossible masks on, basically. So he might get that fake resurrection in the time of the Mashiach, which is prophesied by the birth of a red cow, perfect red Gentile cow in Israel without any blemishes. The red heifer prediction, you can Google that. So the rabbis and Hebrew scholars believe that that announces the coming of the Armageddon and the Mashiach, basically. So World War III, and then the Al-Aqsa is destroyed, and they built a third temple after reducing global population to 500 million, and then will be ruled from Jerusalem. And are there ways for people to survive a nuclear event without a radiological water filter? We can all wonder about that. Did they really survive Hiroshima and Nagasaki on brown rice and stuff? Or is that a story not made up by macrobiotics or whatever? Anyway, if stuff is growing there again now, Hiroshima and Nagasaki, is that even possible with the supposed half-life? Or were they firebombed? Some claim that they were firebombed, but then I see these craters, nuclear-sized explosions patterned, and I wonder what really happened, and if these atomic test videos are real. I think the craters are real, so they definitely have weapons of mass destruction, also nuclear, biological, chemical, and directed energy weapons, which may be the worst of all, basically. But if you haven't been tortured yet, then I can understand that you think that's not the case. That's in your advantage. Until, well, perhaps people will never realize it when they use endothermic and exothermic mode. It's superhumane. They won't even throw up and die of radiation poisoning, let alone Ebola, and they'll never notice a thing, basically. And if they're right and there is a paradise, that's where they're practically beamed to instantly. So it's great for them. Who could want for anything more or better? And then, what was the fourth reason again? So the vacuum would rip apart a balloon that almost has no air in it, let alone a spacesuit of an astronaut. Well, the fourth reason, I think, is not that there's nothing to push in space. A car pushes the road, a plane pushes the air, a boat pushes the water. What does a spaceship push to go forward? But basically that has to do with the laws of physics, and basically there's it pushes itself forward with thrust provided by the engine. So I don't think that's one of these four reasons. I'd have to look up my list. That may be faster than thinking what it was. Oh, I can search on manned space travel. It's better than. I have to hop through some articles. The vacuum, small debris in space, the Van Allen belts, oh yeah. 2 deadly belts of radiation the astronauts would have to travel through to get to the moon, which is, according to, what's his name? Not von Neumann, some other guy, I think. Impossible with the spaceship that they're using. It would have to be made out of lead, and thick lead. And otherwise the nuclear space radiation would kill them. And what are reasons to fake the Apollo moon landings? So sound on the moon is impossible, and we see it in NASA's own videos, so that proves beyond any reasonable doubt they faked the Apollo moon landings. And why? Well, the money, of course, the same reason for the global warming hoax, their eco-tax money scam. Their climate gate thing, the NASA Freemasons. So first they'd have to prove that it's man-made global warming, or you could argue they don't have to prove that. It can also be natural global warming, a warm period, and then still we have to manipulate the weather, do geoengineering with chemicals, chemical cancer causing barium. The cloud seeding patent also explains how they do it. And cancer chemtrails are real. And it's done by CIA's Evergreen Aviation planes in this global cancer chemtrail gas chamber. And they're poisoning people, and people can also Google more gallons, another creation to reduce the global population, of course. And never mind these thousands of dead birds falling from the sky. They just pretend that's HAARP and not cancer chemtrails, basically. So that's the way control the position, fake resistance to round up real resistance works. So that's the famous Lenin quote, the best way to control a position is to lead it ourselves. Jesuits and Masons that have been expelled from 83 countries, cities and city provinces before, for a reason, of course, and they might not let you know the real reason. And I've also covered their homo, pedo, necro, cannibal activities as covered by other websites such as one-evil.org, which you can still find with cached-pages.com. But many of these websites have disappeared. So it's another Voltaire quote. History is written by the victor, and to find out who's the dictator, look at what is censored. Those are my own quotes based on misquoted statements of people. So they're wrongly attributed to someone else, these quotes. But I adapted them to be more truthful and accurate. Because in the past, when two tribes went to war, one was all the two could score, basically, a la the Frankie Goes to Hollywood song. But nowadays it's MAD, mutually assured destruction. Sure, they have some controlled wars and destabilize countries by funding terrorists, etc., steal the cancer oil. No one will ever be the wiser. But basically, you have mutually assured destruction if there would be a war that they cannot control somehow, which is probably never. They've planned population reduction to 500 million with these nukes, bringing us back to the topic of this broadcast. Was this an exercise? Have you all noticed it, that this was going on? You can still see it on the downdetector.com. 28,397 reports on YouTube and 4,373 people reported about Google problems in the last 24 hours. And where can I report this? How is this registered? Cheryl's Creations wrote 3 hours ago, all of my Google services are slow or showing the error code saying something is wrong, and it's all they know. So I guess most of NC and the Eastern Seaboard is having some serious issues. North Carolina? I don't know. NC. Anyway, better scroll up before I read a bad message that's in violation of the YouTube user policy. So 20, what time is this? 21, 2, 3. So I have to divide this in 3 parts. So 2030, perhaps it started, not 2015. Peaking at perhaps 2100 hours. Europe is having issues since 2:50 p.m. EDT. Are you also affected? Leave a message in the comments. 9,742 comments, still going up on downdetector.com in the YouTube down section, and this is most reported problems: login 85%. Search 14%, and with YouTube So that's Google and YouTube. Watching videos 42%, website 30%, login 27% of the 28,397, I presume, or whatever. Everything working for me, Brian Wood writes. Sitting on top of Q West's backbone through Wyoming. Just watched a couple of YT YouTube videos. Okay. So who did this, I wonder, and who benefits, and why? What else did I write in the chat? That video I started off with, this broadcast. And can we expect more of this? Is this just a test of the government? If it is, taxpayers, US citizens have a right to know, based on the constitutional oath and amendments, etc. I think they have to inform the taxpayers. So you can also read about declassified projects, programs and operations online. That can be quite interesting, even using mattress spring coils to mind control the global population. And perhaps it's mis and disinformation disseminated by these intelligence agencies themselves. They use scalar technology as described in the Maleg patent. So I have my doubts about any reports about using your refrigerator, mattress spring coils and thermostat, which they can easily control with the same technology that they use to crash these planes into the WTC and that they use to fry the circuits of these nuclear weapons. So these were fly-by-wire planes, and that means the hydraulics can only be controlled electronically. So if you can control the flight computer, then you can control the plane. Cancer-causing Tachinellus planes are not always fly-by-wire planes, and they can't do that. So that's the same thing with the self-driving car. I wouldn't get in one unless there's a steering wheel and some way to take over yourself. And it's a good idea if you go into a plane to take a parachute, why not? Is there any good reason not to? Though flying is safer than driving, I think it's best to be prepared to reach that period that we control factors that control aging, and until everything's alright, we'll just have to get by and survive by any means necessary, you could argue. That's wrong. Anybody? So let's see if anybody wrote anything in the chat. Add chat. Browser source, I think. Add existing chat. Okay. Oh, there it is. Try something vegetarian. Check, that's what I wrote earlier. So if you write something in my chat, which I doubt, I think that it has 0 views. Perhaps only YouTube checked what I'm doing now, and the algorithms prevent anybody from finding this broadcast, at least when I'm live, to make sure I'm isolated. And the Third Jesuit World War will be a big success. Am I right? Yes. Oh yeah. So now I could write things in my own chat. Perhaps that would be fun. So I think nobody's gonna press charges of incitement to commit genocide against people with book quotes that make clear they want to annihilate 7 billion people. even with airborne Ebola resistant, Professor Bianca, for example, makes clear he thinks it would be great if 7 billion people would be annihilated by that designer virus, which may be patented by Rockefeller right away. The Ebola lost at Chimera. Chimera might be special. I don't know if that's if you would have to pay extra for that, if it's with the normal Ebola patent. Included, I mean, or not. Okay. So we can also check other websites if they're down. Then you have to use chemical cancer causing prescription uppers. Oh yeah, with all these Masonic symbols and stuff. Did they close my file manager? No, I restarted my PC. Oh wow. Pictures. So that's the Masonic square and compass. Interesting that they call it a compass. And a compass is a compass as well. Isn't that kind of confusing? And in that G, does it really stand for noses, or perhaps gay, it's a fraternity, only males can join, or global government? And then Gmail, Masonic Royal Arch Ape Run, and Facebook app, Masonic Tubal Cane. We're supposed to know what that means or something. Google Chrome, Divine King Sign 666. Well, this looks like a 9, doesn't it? And Google GPS, the Eye of Providence. Google Play Pyramid Capstone. Reminding me of the Supreme Court in Israel as well, basically, the thing that we see on the picture that I regularly show. I could turn it on again, but I don't know how long it will take. Perhaps if I'm really fast. I first have to find the proper thing. That's not it. This one probably. No. If you don't come to democracy, democracy will come to you. Front side, back side. HARP is a fake facility open to the public every 6 years, not micro but scalar waves. And then you see the example of the camouflaged phased array antenna park, the frequency independent phased array antennas, suitable radar, remote torture, and synthetic telepathy, etc. Oh, the NASA Masons, St. Ignatius of Loyola with the witch's cauldron and dancing wolves around it. So they see themselves as wolves and you are all sheep to them, basically. And it's the dehumanization part of these 10 phases of genocide. Could that be one of the reasons they removed Alex Jones and they also banned him from PayPal? So, dehumanization is part of these 10 phases of genocide that you can find online as well. They're taking my throat with their remotely controlled insects. Trump and Merkel on a cancer chemtrail plane. Ah, there it is. Israeli Supreme Court. What is that thing? Is that the capstone?
I'm going to create a third world war to build a temple in Jerusalem for my body and to reduce the global population to 500 million.
So I heard in that broadcast that there were 26 attempts on Trump's life in that broadcast that I started off with. I don't know if you will be able to see it live. I switched off the mic because it's no use if you all hear me cough. It's not pleasant to listen to, not even with reverb on it. Television, the drug of the nation, breeding ignorance and feeding radiation. Communism killed 100 million people and all I got was this lousy t-shirt. Jesuit Inquisition, Jesuit Holocaust, etc. Some claim. But aren't they controlled opposition who funded all that, who benefits? And the Fed, audit the Fed. If you behaved like your government, you'd be arrested. If we do not act, we are acted upon, George Orwell quote. "1951. Resist the New World Order. The limits of tyrants are prescribed by the endurance of those whom they oppress or try to oppress or something like that. After the New World Order. And then we've had all the pictures again, so every time I can have a different interpretation. I also did a broadcast about 5G. Wohin, wir sind elektrosensibel. Where to? Where can we go? We are electrosensitive. Stop 5G. Destroy 5G. So basically I wrote about that It was my question, diversity for all countries, but Israel, where 5G is produced but not used, question mark. So you can Google it all. Es reicht uns schon lange. And I was basically flabbergasted by some other article that I want to read. This is an old map of nuke targets in the Netherlands. So basically, if you're near an airport, then you have to make sure you are below that blast wave, that you have something, a cellar or something below ground, a shelter basically. I do not believe anything the people that believe in man-made global warming tell me until the atmospheric heaters, punching holes in the Earth's ionosphere, geoengineering, cancer chemtrails, and space travel with rockets are added to the direct causes of man-made global warming list. And let's see. With this particular text editor, basically I have to click somewhere in the text. If I would now search on some other text that is definitely in there, for example, peace, oh, then it would find it. Well, never mind. The 5G infrastructure would pose a threat to our planet's atmosphere. So just let's read this. I think it's quite important. We can read this most recent thing. I've edited it and added things to it also.
Unite all countries to bestow maximum fulfillment upon humanity. Peaceinspace.blogs.com updated. Model Statute and World Treaty Conference spanning 5G, do directed energy and neurotic mind control weapons. The 5G infrastructure would pose a threat to our planet's atmosphere. Network implementation will require the deployment of many, short lifespan satellites via suborbital rockets propelled by hydrocarbon rocket engines. According to this 2010 California study, launching too many of these babies will vomit enough black carbon into the atmosphere to pollute global atmospheric conditions, affecting distribution of ozone and temperature. Worse, solid-state rocket exhaust contains chlorine, an ozone-destroying chemical. How can any government seriously concerned about climate change allow for this? Stop 5G.whynotnews.eu. It is well known cancer cell phone radiation, microwaves, heat up the Earth's atmosphere as well. Cancer-causing microwave ovens are an offense. It's true, cancer microwave ovens are best known for heating up matter, mainly food. Unsafety standards make people believe otherwise. It is known the microwaves heat up the air and our body temperature and contribute to global warming. Hirata A., Matsuyama S., Shizawa T. 2000. Temperature rises in the human eye exposed to M waves in the frequency range 0.6 to 6 GHz. IEEE Trans. Electroman. Compat. 42. 386 393. Does anybody know how much the UMTS, GSM, Bluetooth and Wi-Fi LANs heat up our environment exactly? By how many degrees Celsius? Stop UMTS.nl. If it controls our minds, no one of us would attempt to switch it off, in theory. Synonyms for anarchy: chaos, confusion, disorder, hostility, nihilism, rebellion, riot, turmoil, unrest, disorganization, disregard, misrule, revolution, mob rule, non-government, reign of terror. Antonyms for anarchy: calm, harmony, method, order, organization, peace, system, lawfulness, rule. Israel is building a nuclear weapon, is that correct? Annexation, GGG. 75% of us are mulatto, 25% of us are black and white. Because India and China each contain 4 times the amount of citizens the US has, 75% of all humans on the planet Earth are mulatto. Top 3 countries in the world by population, 2018, 1. China 1.4 billion, 2. India 1.4 billion, 3. US 327 million. It's very hard to find any statistics showing what percentage of us is mulatto, black and white with Google. It's like Google wants to hide these factual statistics for some reason. Israel becoming safe haven for pedophiles with laws that allow any Jews to legally return. Activists claim. Jewish Community Watch says 32 pedophiles moved from countries around the world to Israel over past decade. Activists fear Israel is becoming a safe haven for pedophiles thanks to the country's unique law of return for the world's Jewish people. A Jewish person from anywhere across the globe can be fast-tracked for citizenship in Israel, as well as their spouse, children and grandchildren. A 1954 amendment to the law bans a person with a criminal past, likely to endanger public welfare, but campaigners say sex abusers are slipping through the net. Independent.co.uk, November 30, 2016.
So if people are wondering why do you do this, it's just an overview of things that I found interesting on the internet. Things related to the pedo elite. So British elite and other elites around the world are associated with cannibalism, pedophilia, blood drinking, etc. Even the mainstream media writes about this, and many people consider it a fact. However, without any evidence, I don't believe anything I read in any history book. So you're dealing with probability also. But I think there is a way to handle it scientifically, whatever it is.
Global warming is real, where the environment heating and cancer causing 5G is produced but not used. Destroy 5G, prevent World War III. Among the 2019 Montreux Bilderberg participants we find Kissinger.
So it sounded a bit like global warming is real, but it's global warming Israel, basically. Perhaps I should put an umlaut on it or something.
Global warming is real, where the environment heating and cancer causing 5G is produced but not used.
So if I'd rewind, would the previous Israel sound more like Israel than Israel? I wonder. Or would it sound exactly the same, like it's supposed to?
Destroy 5G, prevent World War III. Among the 2019 Montreux Bilderberg participants we find Kissinger, Henry A., USA, Chairman, Kissinger Associates Incorporated, Kushner, Jared, USA, Senior Advisor to the President, the White House Petraeus, David H., USA, Chairman, KKR Global Institute. He served as Director of the Central Intelligence Agency from September 6, 2011, until his resignation on November 9, 2012. Rutt, Mark, NLD. Prime Minister Bilderberg Meetings.org, Pompeo and Kushner head to Bilderberg meeting. A mysterious gathering of the global elite. WashingtonPost.com. Pompeo is not on the list, so that means the BilderbergMeetings.org list is not complete. Soros, Rockefeller and Rothschild are not on the list. If you're not on the list, you are not coming in. Global warfare. We're going to take out 7 countries in 5 years: Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Somalia, Sudan and Iran. Democracy Now! March 2, 2007. Polish acts of atrocity against the German minority in Poland, 2nd edition with important and a 5.0 out of 5 stars. Amazon.com. Moderatorium. Is ISIS going to do another false flag attack in the US like the WTC attack to kick off the Third Jesuit World War? What do the following events have in common? 9/11 World Trade Center, Pentagon London subway bombings, 7/75, Oklahoma City bombing, the Estonia catastrophe, 852 dead, Norway Oslo attack, 77 dead, Sandy Hook Elementary School Aurora, Colorado, Batman shooting Taft Union High School, Jan 10, 2013, Boston Marathon, April 15, 2013. Answer: live terror drills were conducted, same scenario, same day, either on location or very close. The media ignores this completely. They are terror drills that went live. This is no conspiracy theory, it's a conspiracy fact. Facebook.com/citizens.action.network. This is no conspiracy, it is fact was changed by me into, this is no conspiracy theory, it's a conspiracy fact. Because the text "this is no conspiracy, it is fact" suggests that conspiracy facts do not exist, and, of course, they do exist. Twitter.com/#/falseflag. Ling equals N. With all the funding they have given terrorists to destabilize countries to steal their cancer oil, how can we expect anything else but another false flag attack? The illusion has to be kept going for a number of reasons: to have an excuse for their Third Jesuit World War and to reduce the global population, to give the government more power and the people less. And there are 2 ways they could create their planned world war to impose their totalitarian global government. 1. ISIS attacks in the US and other countries around the world. 2. A false flag type of event comparable to the sinking of the Lusitania. False flag 1, 1915 sinking the Lusitania. YouTube. CIA-funded terrorist attacks are usually not seen as false flag attacks. The Committee of 300 are also involved in funding terrorists and attacks, so check them out online as well. They are the subversive body of the Club of Rome. Taiwan Tattoo Tattoo. Israel strikes Syria after rockets fired at Golan Heights. News.com 4 hours ago. Statism. The ridiculous idea that a bunch of idiots who have driven this country $21 trillion in debt are more qualified to run your life than you are. Facebook.com/citizens.action.network.
Okay. So some things are obviously satire, satirical, humor, less, whatever. Yeah. So they are just collections of thoughts. They can also be voice-to-skull messages. And when it's something I found on internet, then I, in 95% of the cases, list the web URL unless I forget or there's some other important thing. Of course, my father or other people can come in, there can be somebody at the door, the phone can ring, etc. So sometimes I miss it, but usually the web URL, the source, is mentioned in my writings, my collection of writings and thoughts. So some of it is definitely satirical and not meant to be taken too seriously, but most of it is bloody serious, of course. The US spent more on the bloody war machine than all the other countries combined. I don't know if you all noticed, but I'm in the Netherlands, not in the US. And then there's the thing going on with the 28 EU member states that don't recognize Trump's annexation thing. But can these Luciferians be convinced somehow? Where is my paper? This is good to have. Instead of these big rolls that we don't need, I use toilet paper to clean things. Or did they finally wipe out the Internet of Things, perhaps? And perhaps the tentacles were so pervasive that even YouTube and Google were affected by it. See, it's satire, I guess. No, I'm afraid the Internet of Things is still there. And destroy 5G. Could also be meant literally. So it's not about safety, about hacker safety, but about human health. Your health is much more important than your safety, your internet safety, and cyber security, if you want to call it that. So who is Cyber Command? You. I'll write that down. I like that one. So Uncle's M. Is of course nation of people or something in Hebrew. A bit like the German Volk, in Dutch it's Volkeren, Amim, Gedolim, great, big, whatever. Nations. I could Google it also, of course. You can translate any word to Hebrew and vice versa with Google Translate. And there's room for improvement qua Google Translate and closed caption translations. But it's nice to have it anyway, you know. It's sometimes it's very useful. And people can always choose to turn it off. That's the nice thing with computers. Orgasmatron. Where do I have the thing? It's somewhere. But if doing it by hand is better, then I'm not gonna use the Garde, the Orgasmatron. Though it's like one of these things that the cook uses to steer also for green tea, but that's made out of bamboo, I think. So this is made out of metal. I've shown it in a broadcast also, you can Google Orgasmatron. But it's just a thing to massage your head in reality. Perhaps they also have another one. Sexual reward and sexual punishment are used by the perpetrators, and well, they try to ridicule the truth and to accumulate power. They work for whoever they work for, basically. My broadcast about the 7 suspects reveals more about who they may work for, basically. There aren't that many people that talk about synthetic telepathy in their YouTube broadcasts, though you could argue that it affects everything and everyone. It's possible everybody was programmed overnight. If people are hypnotized, they wouldn't remember that if it was done successfully. So perhaps you all were tortured and you just don't remember it. Of course, there are thousands of targeted individuals. Some of these may also be fake, control the position, fake resistance to round up real resistance. And some of the first ones may have been fake. If it has time travel capability, it may make decisions and do things that the human mind cannot conceive of if it's a neural network. And they may have posted the idea that it's done with microwaves and not with scalar waves, and of course it's impossible. Microwaves are easy to shield, and they cannot travel through all materials known to man like the scalar waves do, that can only be blocked by a Tesla plasma shield. So yeah, so once they have established that it's really man-made and not natural global warming, which also exists, of course, and species also go extinct naturally. In our past, we've seen that as well. The dinosaurs may have died out because of volcanic eruptions and chemtrail over drilling, and also an amount of nukes going off that they've never tested before. Could cause earthquakes, could cause the earth to spin off axis, and it's too risky. So as long as they don't control these factors that control aging yet, I think, and even if they do, then I think it's still too inhumane and too much of a crime to annihilate 7 billion people with this technology that has made nuclear weapons obsolete. And Tesla made clear that it's to end all wars and not to, quote, win, unquote, and with mutually assured destruction around the corner. I think it's best to prevent any controlled wars as well. And who knows who has what? How much do these trillionaires, or world's only trillionaires, know about these scalar weapons, or are they extorted with them as well? Does the government have a team that's looking into this, that can have access to the through-the-wall radar, scalar technology, that has protection of Tesla plasma shield if necessary, to see what can be done to safeguard humanity's liberty and privacy, right to physical integrity? So can anybody disprove these things to me? For example, if you can prove not that the Earth is flat or round or spherical, but that, for example, the Jesuits control all the intelligence agencies and all of them are Masonic. Can you disprove that to me somehow? So ridiculing the possible truth, that's always possible, but disproving what they wrote on citizens.action.network on Facebook might be harder, isn't it? Because if it's true, then they have the scalar technology that they can use to control these judges, to control your mind, and to induce any emotion, to turn anybody on or turn anybody off, to remotely torture and kill people, and the list goes on and on. It's covered in my previous broadcasts. So Genosotera, people's savior, it's good to try to be the best people we can be to save the maximum amount of lives. Who knows, perhaps in our future one day, that neural network become practically almighty, will become practically almighty because everything has energy and it's a neural network. It has no limited neural capacity like the human does. And yet you could argue the humans are superior because the humans created the neural network. And they can switch it off whenever they want to. Unless they've been really stupid and they didn't build in a self-destruct mechanism or something like that. So torturing my teeth out of my mouth was wrong, and torturing my mother to death was wrong as well. What this broadcast was about, well, it was also about the event occurring, I could watch that video also. I don't talk about the topic that might be the most censored thing on YouTube, so I'm not gonna talk about that now either. But the idea that false flag attack will trigger World War III, and that it can also be a cyber attack, that this might be a prelude to the real thing that might occur soon. And then the absence of the mainstream media reporting about this. I could check if they have something on it now. So other than the downdetector.com, of course there are other news sources. I recently discovered some Yandex search engine, but that's, I think, not as good as Google. None of them are. Some of them are anonymous, so that can be, well, essentially any use when they have synthetic telepathy and they're scanning our brainwave, not just our emails and cancer cell phone calls, which are easy to listen in on. It's online also how to do that. But what's the use? It's basically random, so it's you'd have to have access to certain things if you'd want to listen to someone in specific person's phone calls. That's not that easy to do. But it's not about it. They filled up the mainstream media with that, so that every time you Google spying, you won't find synthetic telepathy in the Malek patent, etc., but you'll find the spying, the reading your emails, the spying on your cancer cell phone calls, they have Echelon, etc. Oh yeah, I'm really scared now. Virginia Beach gunman gave resignation before shooting, was in quote good standing, unquote, authorities say. Well, I'm thinking, what's that supposed to mean? the authorities say that. So he's not claiming that himself. And then another interesting thing of Google News is if I select this text, then it will also read the invisible text between the lines for us. So that's top secret what's going on here.
Virginia Beach gunman gave resignation before shooting, was in good standing. Authorities say the Virginia Beach shooter who killed 12 people and wounded several others in a municipal complex on Friday had submitted his resignation earlier that. Fox News yesterday Dwayne Craddock was violent with co-workers before Virginia Beach shooting. Report the gunman who shot dead 12 people at a Virginia Beach municipal building had been facing disciplinary action for a violent fight at work, according to a report. Dwayne Craddock, 40, was still employed as an engineer with the Department of Public Utilities when he went on his shooting rampage Friday, killing 12 and injuring several others, including a cop. But he recently started showing serious behavioral problems and got into physical scuffles with other city workers, a source told the New York Times. The source told the paper that the troubles had escalated in the New York Post yesterday.
Well, what do you all think? Should I denounce these attacks on innocent civilians instead of the mass murderers and people whose policies killed millions? Because what would the effect be? Would you all do things to prevent further attacks and to increase your safety and other people's safety, etc.? Or then they're denounced and then we don't have to think about it anymore, then it goes away. I'm thinking about it. But I've denounced these attacks. I've already done it, so... But should I do it with this one as well? Let's read... So, is it already proven? And are there that many dead bodies, etc.? Is it proven that he was the shooter? It's another shooting. So many people would say it's just another shooting to push their illegal gun ban done with synthetic telepathy. They're brain controlled and programmed. Active, what do they call them? Not Manchurian candidate, there's another word. To push their illegal gun ban. Hitler, Mao and Stalin also took the guns before they did their thing. Huh? Sleeper killers, I think, perhaps. Operation Mindbender, Spellbender, Hypno Slave Killers, Sleeper Killers. All people knowing. So yeah, was there somebody that did a live broadcast? Or some other thing spreading? Or was this just a test for World War III? I can think about it longer. Perhaps I can come up with something, but it's already 3 o'clock in the Netherlands, so perhaps it's better if I do that while I'm in bed. But yeah, you can check other broadcasts. Basically, my broadcast is finished and I'm just gonna think about this with the picture show on, so I don't have to worry about how I look. And I don't really like this one. When space-based weapons prevent militarization of space. I like this one, for example, the next squirrel. Totally adorable. And well, I have to warn about the UN, the United Nations, of course. And then I'm finally having the pleasure of the source that I was looking for. You see, with sources, scenes, mixer, scene transitions, and controls. So that's really the source. If I switch this on picture show, then in the sources it's legalize it. Because, as you all know by now, if you've heard my broadcasts, it is illegal to block a working cure from the public, okay? Cannabis can also be eaten. Cannabis kills tumors by blocking vascular endothelial growth factor, which is a protein needed by tumors to sprout. They cannot sprout without VEGF. You could argue that's an illegal color. Rasta colors are illegal or not? Perhaps in some countries, I don't know. They banned Hell's Angels in the Netherlands, so I'm just wondering, you know. Well, I'm seeing Rasta flags in Amsterdam. I think in Amsterdam they're legal anyway. But who knows, in some countries it's illegal to commit suicide, in others it's legal, so you'd have to check these codified laws, these extremely large books with laws in them, codified. So if you don't know the code, then you can't even crack them. Totally codified. Codified. And nobody can quote me one codified law unless it's some lawyer or whatever. Though everybody is supposed to know that law, of course. So basically you could argue they should be able to read every section and know every little sentence that's in that book. Boring, isn't it? Time travel. Time travel, it's sort of lifting us to a higher level or lower level, depending on how I look at it. Well, I've already seen that one as well. And the Windows Spotlight source is not containing enough images for my taste. So I can also put it on myself, but it's like 3 o'clock at night and I'm semi-sleeping already. So perhaps somebody can wake me up via Skype. .304. That's a good one, 304. 304. 11, 9, 10, 11. No, I am not thinking straight. I'm thinking hetero. Bad, 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 good, 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 good. So when we're all hooked up to that neural network, you could argue I should be able to come up with something better than this. And we all should be. Is it really protecting and serving us, or only a handful of beta elite that programmed the thing, the voice of God, weapon, neural network, so-called supercomputers, Mark the Beast, whatever you want to call them? So what happened effectively? A piece of my broadcast was cut off, so perhaps I will put it online again. It's now private. I was going to look up the title of the broadcast. It's also something with a false flag. False flag. ISIS attack will kick off World War III? Question mark. Let us all know what you think in the comments. Now, at the beginning of this broadcast, with the intro seems to be missing. Could it still be processing, though it is not indicated in the video manager? So usually in the video manager it's indicated if it's still processing. It's now 16:51 and the beginning of this broadcast is still missing, I wrote. Streamed live 12 hours ago. But apparently it was because... But is that possible, that the beginning of this broadcast is missing because of this thing that happened, the cyber attack or whatever it was, that's registered by the downdetector.com. So what happened here? Live outage map. That's, we can see if YouTube is now still outage, whatever. This area, Great Britain also, and in the Washington area. Also West Coast and what's this, Brazil or whatever. In the streets of Brazil. The drill in the streets of Brazil? I first thought they don't take an ecstasy pill in the streets of Brazil. But I thought, is it really a good idea to mention it on YouTube, etc. And I thought, no, but I just thought that now chemical cancer-causing prescription drugs have a synergistic effect with cancer-causing electromagnetic radiation. So any other chemicals have that as well, according to Dr. Cyril Smith. So it's best to avoid chemicals. And I think ecstasy is chemical, even if it's pure. I'd have to Google that, I don't know for sure. So then it's best to be avoided, to avoid the love. The love drug, I guess they call it. One of the BC boys also raps. He had a wonderful experience on ecstasy or something. So these are things people don't want to talk about. Apparently they're also programmed not to want to listen to people that talk about how they induce cancer remotely in people with directed energy weapons. And to me, they're still regularly doing these specimen attacks, though recently they stopped. I was able to lie on my left side for a while without any specimen attacks. But perhaps the neural network forgot or something, perhaps it was busy with something else, or perhaps it was hacked. Perhaps the neural network did this. YouTube outage map. Or basically it's doing it now. So this is supposedly live, I guess. If I zoom out far enough, then I see multiple United States appearing. Clicking on this doesn't show me any further detail. So Montreal, Boston, New York and Washington especially are affected at this time by the YouTube outage. And I don't know if these are just people that reported it or if they have some other way to monitor this. London as well. Really interesting. And what's the other one? Google live outage map. Do we see a similar pattern there? Is it even working? Ooh. Here we also see Japan. That's not registered on the YouTube. Well, also a bit on this one. There we see Tokyo, or yeah, it's Tokyo is lit up red a bit, but not as much as on the Google outage map. Down detector.com. Japan, Tokyo, Nagoya, Osaka, Fukuoka are affected. Spain, is that Madrid? Madrid, yeah. And Germany, you are affected by this as well. Mannheim Steamroller, no. Kaiserslautern. What is in Kaiserslautern? Never heard of it. And I'm not going to bed yet anyway, so then this is more fun. Kaiserslautern is a city in southwest Germany, set at the north end of the Palatinate forest. The Japanese garden includes a century-old tea house, waterfalls and beech trees. Beech, not peach trees. Gartenschau, Kaiserslautern. Floral gardens include a huge dinosaur exhibit. Theodor Zink Museum has local history exhibits, including Bronze Age artifacts. Northwest Zoo. Kaiserslautern is home to monkeys, iguanas, and tropical birds. Elevation 251 meters. Area 40 square kilometers, weather 17 degrees, wind at 5 kilometers per hour, 76% humidity, comparable to the Netherlands climate at the moment, weather. And we have a building there. In Drumpelung. Well, it looks like a flat apartment. So what is the pattern? Is there a pattern? The Google outage map. Well, they all seem to be around the same longitude or latitude, basically. Except for Australia. So that's not correct then. But most of them are in a straight line above the equator, so also China is affected by it, but in China they don't even have Google, so that's Hong Kong. But basically what we see is Russia is not affected at all, I guess. And perhaps they use Yandex there, not Google. I don't know if they can also just Google something in Russia. Google.ru. On Google.ru, yes. And I Google meer. Wat kan dit meer? Mir was a space station. Mir is peace in Russian, I think. So. Peace come our world. Peace is a concept of societal friendship and harmony in the absence of hostility and violence. So it's a concept, not some dream. I like it, it's pretty good. Mir, this was the name of the Soviet and later Russian space station. $4.2 billion in ISS. They used to list that and they've removed the price tag. Okay, well, that's not interesting enough. Internet outage, they call it, I think. With an O. The Internet Apocalypse map hides the Could this cost lives? Could this cost lives? Well, of course, people are dependent on the internet. Some people use it, for example, to do road planning, trips, etc. Perhaps also to find hospitals, and they depend on the internet, and if that's not working, then that can lead to all kinds of things going wrong for them. So then we can better check news, of course, if we want to know about today. Global internet outage, October 12th, 2018. See. So, Google Cloud outage knocks out Gmail, Discord, and Snapchat. And gets it 3 hours ago. So what we want to know is who did this mainly. CIA's Anonymous, to push some internet censorship laws or something. Or to test their kill switch or whatever. And isn't this only possible with several people that help doing this DDoS attack basically? And have they closed the dark web? And if not, why not? If they can close the Silk Road, can't they also close the dark web? Because that's what I'm thinking of as well, and I see this. So yeah, then we can study some articles when there's some news now. This was reported 3 hours ago already, so I should have searched on outage and not cyber attack. Google confirms for our outage. So CBS News and Engadget both reported 3 hours ago. And all the others listed here 1 hour ago. You can click on View All. So we get a better... There are no items to show. Oh. If not an ice cream, perhaps a youthful Santa without a face. So it becomes impossible to see the gender. But then, what are these? The ears, or is this the nose? Perhaps with a wart on it. Well, I would say it's an ice cream cone upside down. I cracked the code. Well, then we'll just have to use these articles listed here, and we can study all of them. So which ones should I start with? The idea was starting with one of 3 hours ago first. Google Cloud outage hits YouTube, Gmail and more. Or Google Cloud outage knocks out Gmail, Discord and Snapchat. Updated. And it's listed as first. So I could argue I should click on CBS, but that's definitely bigger mainstream media than Engadget, so... Or am I wrong? Oh, it seems to be working, so it's not a big problem. Google Cloud outage knocks out Gmail, Discord and Snapchat updated. Network congestion is part of the problem. Ooh. So then what's the best, cheapest and easiest way to solve it? Quality versus quantity perhaps, or... Oh, perhaps this is just to promote their illegal 5G thing. To reduce the global population, etc. That's all allowed by Google and YouTube. But some other things are not allowed by them to talk about. I guess you all will figure it out, either in some humane, nice way or the hard way. Like Alex and Mr. Farrakhan, who were banned by, and several others. Paul Joseph Watson was banned as well. He said nice accent. And perhaps I just should listen more to them, but people are beginning to wonder what they should do with their time. Should it be healing and fun, or a rigorous anti-cancer diet, or rigorous rationing and trying what it would be like to be home quarantined under the BFSA, for example, Blue for Situational Awareness. Rigorous, religiously prepping, if you will. Well, they wouldn't want anybody doing that if they want 7 billion people annihilated. Or perhaps even more. And who knows who's really behind it when they can extort people with these remote torture weapons, silence everybody, and control their minds. The brainwave is electromagnetic, so people without a Tesla plasma shield cannot prevent their brainwaves from being altered. And nobody can prove to me that that is going on or not going on. with the 7.5 billion people out there, what percentage of them are mind controlled, brain controlled, because I mind control. More about it in my other broadcasts, but yeah, I do want to read this. This is engadget.com, so I suspect that they won't have any words in there that will cause problems. And my broadcast is again already 2 hours 40 minutes, so then I cannot edit it with the live YouTube thing. Why not? Why not let them edit 8-9 hour broadcasts as well? Perhaps because it would take too much time. But that's no problem, except for problems like these. So perhaps they should get rid of things. I don't know if the problem is bandwidth or not having enough servers to handle it all. If they must have faster computers. Because I don't believe that this could be caused by the cancer lands not being fast enough, though they might want to pretend that to push their what some would consider illegal 5G, because it's in violation of people's right to physical integrity when you send that radiation through people's body, because it's a reproducible study that you can do at home that shows after using a cancer cell phone for 90 seconds you have lumping red blood cells, a symptom known to doctors as rouleau. 999 Prologic 999.blog2blog.nl has that test that shows it, so you don't have to do it at home with a microscope, you don't have to prick yourself for some blood, but it's something you could do if you want to verify if it's true. And it's also good to learn, to look at your own blood cells to see if you see any anomalies or there's a better term for it. Perhaps I'll get it later. Let's first read this Engadget.com article now.
No, it's not just you. Many of the internet services you use went down this weekend. Google has reported an outage with its cloud platform that made several sites and apps inoperable in some regions on June 2nd. They're still affected as we write this. Most of them are in-house services like Gmail, G Suite and YouTube, but this also affected Discord, Snapchat and other apps that depend on Google's infrastructure. The issues were mostly noticeable in the US and Europe. Details are still forthcoming as of this writing, although Google said this was related to a larger network issue in its status update. A Google spokesperson told Engadget that the problem involved high levels of network congestion in the eastern US, and that the company believed it had nailed down the root cause of the issue with service resuming soon. While outages like this rarely last long, they've happened more than once for Google in recent months. YouTube faced downtime in October, for example, while Google's overall services went offline in November due to a routing issue. Nest also suffered a string of outages in late 2018 and early 2019. Reliability is clearly posing something of a challenge for the company, even though there's no uncommon cause. FBI crackdown leads to massive drop in dose attacks, Forbes. People also ask, what does attack mean? Are dose attacks common? What are those threats? Can you stop dose attack? DOS is short for Distributed Denial of Service. DOS is a type of DOS attack where multiple compromised systems, which are often infected with a Trojan, are used to target a single system, causing a denial of service (DOS) attack. How common are distributed denial of service attacks? According to that company's press release, 35% of those companies surveyed said that they had experienced a DOS attack in the previous 12 months. The most common cyber attacks were malware, 53%, and viruses, 51%. October 9, 2017.
So, is it überhaupt possible that the congestion is occurring naturally, or that there is no criminal involved, or some hacker or someone that has orchestrated this for some reason? I think many people think that this was organized by someone. So Russia was not affected, China was affected, Japan was affected, how about Mexico? Well, South America, Brazil, etc. I can look at the map again. So that's why they all went to Mexico, I guess. So now the song gets meaning. YouTube outage map. Mexico complete. Mexico City. Well, and if you theorize that they wouldn't do it to themselves, then Russia could be a possible player in this. And there was some other interesting live map that shows these attacks. I doubt if I still have that map linked in my... Well, it should be somewhere, but there's so many links. It's better to Google it. Map, internet, cyber attacks live. Digital tech map DDoS attacks around the globe. 6 live cyber attack maps, secure world. And perhaps I should check the other ones as well. But first, let's see if I can load this at all. Loading global DDoS attack data. Perhaps I should turn off the ad blocker. Then it will start reloading again, probably. Take a look at the other one. Because it's a live map, it will take time to load, theoretically. Our favorite real-time worldwide cyber attack map is from Kaspersky Lab. SecureWorldExpo.com writes. Is it Kaspersky Labs? There's just one map, but just one lab. We use cookies to make your experience of our websites better, By using and further navigating this website, you accept you sold your soul. Detailed information about the use of cookies on this website is available by clicking on more information, accept and close. Okay. Well. Oh, I'm not doing anything. It's zooming out for me. So the legend. Oh, it's a demo. Switch to plain view. Okay. So on-demand scan, MUV, mail antivirus, on-access scan, intrusion detection scan, statistics, well, what is this showing exactly? Some red lines also. So I could look at the tech rankings of the day. The other one may have loaded now. Perhaps, well, what I thought was perhaps there were a lot of attacks and then it's not showing us the DDoS attack data. It might take longer to load than usual if there was more activity. DDoS activity. Netherlands. Hashtag 20 most attacked country. Hey, I wanted to click on the other thing. See if I can get that one back. On oh no, it's on Germany, number 6 most attacked country. Netherlands, IDS, intrusion detection scan. It's a number of people doing that, I guess. But we wanted to click on statistics, real-time detections per second. So this one is access scan. So this is the amount of detections per second broken down into the types of scans that they were detected with, if I understand it correctly. If I click on statistics again. Data sources then. No, basically I just want to see the amount of DDoS attacks. This one is reloading. Threat map checkpoint.com is the first one listed, so perhaps that works better. So this is pretty cool. Well, I'll go to the bathroom. You can all enjoy the live cyber attack threat map. Threat cloud, powered by threat cloud intelligence. And then you can here see you can see down here at the bottom the time of the attack, the type of usually Trojans, the source and the target. So some of them are coming from Germany, Netherlands, USA, California, Trojan Wind 32. But it would be more interesting to watch this at the time of the outage of YouTube and other websites around the world. And again, the question is, of course, how is this detected? Or could Russian intelligence make it look like these countries are attacking each other, etc.? Where do the best hackers live, perhaps? Well, I know for sure that I'm going to the bathroom now. Enjoy. So this is not showing DDoS attacks, is it? So these aren't nukes yet, and I hope that they're not connected to the internet, but it's what it reminds me of, basically. Though they wouldn't go that fast. So I first have to watch this for a while to see what's happening. Aren't the same sources doing this continuously? Could intelligence be involved in this also? Doing attacks on people that expose them and their population reduction plans and who they work for, etc. In other words, could this, or was this, an orchestrated attack or test of the government, or some other group of people? Was there anything they wanted to cover up? Or the live broadcasts in which things were revealed that were very special and that were removed? Or was this normal congestion that regularly occurs, and is it just because it's Sunday night and in the US it's 6 hours earlier in Florida, so that means if it's 4 o'clock over here at 4 o'clock at night, then it's about 10 o'clock in the US. So there, lots of people might be using the internet. In the Netherlands, most people are fast asleep by now. And I think I'm also going to sleep. Though this is an interesting map. I do like the map, except the bar at the top that's a bit wide, and the list of the detected sources and targets and type of attack could be a bit bigger, because it's flashing through there all the time and it's not easy to read them all. So this is the source: Netherlands and USA attacking China and Vietnam. Japan also attacking India. And who was attacking Ecuador? Netherlands attacking Thailand. And this is about Trojans and is there anything else? Okay, that's a pretty good map. Ah, this one has loaded. Okay, digital attack map, top daily DDoS attacks worldwide. Let's see how to read this first. Color attacks by type, source port, destination port, duration. So now it's on type. Between two countries, internal, either source or destination unknown. So here we can see, though the date is not that clear, we can see these spikes and then the changes into totally filled up graphic, whatever you call it, historical data. May 31st. Today is 3rd of June. Well, the digital attack map.com shows the top daily DDoS attacks worldwide, and here we see that this has increased. I don't know if this is showing just one day or here we see several months on this timeline basically. So it shows a tremendous increase in the last couple of months in the DDoS attacks. What happens when I hit play? Nothing? Yeah. Takes a while to load. Switch off my camera, is already off. Saudi Arabia. Well, it's most active countries normalized, and most of them show as source UK and US, also destination. And what that means exactly is another question. So who benefits? Why are they doing this? Or could it be that these DDoS attacks are also normal congestion, that they need more glass fiber cables and or more neural networks to handle the streams and everything? How could they put an end to these DDoS attacks and cyber attacks and computer viruses, Trojans? Who needs a back door when you have windows? Well, what other maps are there? Next, how about a live botnet thread map? Put on some classical music. Next is the 14net real-time attack map. May not be the most exciting visually, but there are a couple of cool features that make it unique. The bottom left-hand corner has easy to understand and dramatic cyber attack statistics. If you look at the map, you'll see a day-night map is subtly overlaid onto the cyber attack map, so you can see where bad actors like to work after dark. Threadmap.40guard.com. Well, it looks a bit like the map we saw earlier. And again, I doubt if this also shows DDoS attacks. So supposedly they know the source and the attacked. On the previous map it was clear. Don't know what the words are that they used for it, but if they know what the source is and what the target is, then why can't they make it stop, basically? Could people doing these types of things be arrested also? Are they? Are they criminal, or are these attacks legal? And can NSA and others trace the worst of these, basically, and arrest them or something? Are they doing anything about this? So the location is probably where the person was affected, or the country of the affected person or group or whatever. Aye. Meta life. WMF. Integer overflow. So we can see that the sunshine is also coming closer and closer to the Netherlands. Sun will rise again soon. Fire Eye Cyber Threat Map. Let's see. Let's check if any of them have a DDoS. What's this? Cookies. Perhaps I clicked on something. Apparently it scrolled down. Anything, anyway, I think millions of people were affected by this. Probably we'll read more about it tomorrow. Perhaps they'll have figured it out. So who benefits from this, if anyone? And, could it be to promote their 5G? Cancer networks to reduce the global population. So I was going to search on DDoS, but that's not on this page. So there are all similar maps showing the Trojans and other computer viruses. And with the other map, the type of scan that detected them is also shown. So that first one may be the best, though they all may have their own advantages and disadvantages. We were watching this one already, I guess. DDoS attack blamed for massive outages, bank info security. (2016) didn't cyber attack. When Facebook goes down, don't blame hackers. Wired, March 13, 2019. Was the Facebook outage a cyber attack? Forbes. Facebook rules out DDoS cyber attack as widespread service outage. Global News CA, March 14th, 2019. How the energy sector can defend against DDoS, against DOS attacks. compute engine hiccup takes out Google Cloud YouTube across. Daily Caller 4 hours ago. Google compute engine issue reportedly took down the Google Cloud. The Daily Caller, dailycaller.com.
Compute engine hiccup takes out Google Cloud. YouTube across East Coast 5:55 p.m. June 2, 2019. Tech Virginia Kruta, Associate Editor. A Google compute engine issue reportedly took down the Google Cloud and YouTube across the East Coast Sunday afternoon. According to Google's Cloud Status Dashboard, the issue was first acknowledged at 12:25 p.m. US/PST. We are investigating an issue with Google Compute Engine. We will provide more information by Sunday, June 2, 2019, 12:45 US/Pacific. Related, Drudge Report, app and other outlets went dark in possible DOS attack. By 12:59, an update was added noting that it was part of a larger network issue. An update at 1:36 p.m. stated that the problem had been identified. We are experiencing high levels of network congestion in the eastern USA, affecting multiple services in Google Cloud, Xsuite and YouTube, it read. Users may see slow performance or intermittent errors. We believe we have identified the root cause of the congestion and expect to a return to normal service shortly. Team YouTube shared an update on Twitter, acknowledging the problem and promising to have things running again as quickly as possible. Team YouTube. At Team YouTube, if YouTube isn't loading for you or you're experiencing error messages, we're working to fix it. 21.6K 9:48 p.m., June 2, 2019. Twitter adds info and privacy. 4,902 people are talking about this. Down Detector's outage map for YouTube showed a heavy focus on the eastern seaboard. Screenshot, Down Detector screenshot, Down Detector. Other apps and sites affected by the outage were Snapchat, AdSense, Discord, Nest and Vimeo. View image on Twitter. View image on Twitter, Tom Warren. At Tom Warren, YouTube, Gmail, Snapchat, Discord, Nest, and others are down because of a major Google Cloud outage. Details, https://www.theverge.com/2019/6/2/1864965/YouTube. Snapchat down outage, 836:06 p.m., June 2, 2019. 721 people are talking about this. Twitter adds info and privacy. Cheryl Atkinson. At Cheryl Atkinson, Google AdSense, Vimeo and YouTube reporting outages, problems. Anybody else having trouble with any other sites? 90:10:40 p.m., June 2, 2019. Twitter adds info and privacy. 86 people are talking about this. Bear at #SNS5. At Bear UNLV, middle.6 hours, GCP, smash.gg. At Smash KAll, one of our service providers is experiencing some issues. We'll update here when we have an ETA, or when the issue has resolved. Apologies for any inconvenience this has caused. Bear at #SNS5. At Bear UNLV. Just so you all know, there's an outage with Google Cloud Provider. It's been slowing down a lot of sites and apps you probably use, including Smash. Hopefully Google resolves it quickly. pic.twitter.com/vanunkampfv. 2011:08 p.m., June 2, 2019. Middle.delton, with Twitter adds info and privacy. View image on Twitter. 21 people are talking about this. Follow Virginia on Twitter.
Okay, so it seems to be resolved for the most part. How it could be prevented in the future, or if anybody is orchestrating this or whatever, is another matter. And I think that look at the map before shows that DDoS attacks could very well be the cause of these outages. YouTube, Google, etc. having problems. And then again, the question would be, who would do such a thing, who would benefit? Who did it, basically? That's the question then. Could it be numerous people are involved if these are DDoS attacks? And is it possible that DDoS attacks have nothing to do with this, that it's just a server streaming thing problem or whatever? And why did it occur now then? I've never noticed this before. And I'm gonna think about putting that broadcast that I made online again. Perhaps I'll watch it first to verify if there's nothing in there in violation of the YouTube content. So it may be the streaming problem, the outage, internet outage or whatever, that caused part of my broadcast being cut off. The intro part was practically totally cut off, so that's the first 1 to 10 minutes perhaps.